Morning. Welcome to GSC Live Mornings. It is May 16th, day 64, and our stay at home time together. This morning, my cup of coffee comes to me in a Minnesota State Parks cup commemorating Zipple Bay State Park. Now, I've never been to Zipple Bay State Park. It's clear up by Williams, Minnesota, or probably more notably, International Falls. The pictures I see on their website are incredible. Therefore, it's become a destination. I invite you to Google it, pull up their website, and just to look at the pictures. It's amazing. Minnesota is a beautiful place in the country. 10,000 plus lakes, and we're just getting into the best part of the year here, aren't we, fellow Minnesotans? Anyway, and we share our lakes with those from Wisconsin and the Dakotas and Iowa and Nebraska and Illinois, and whoever else wants to travel here to our great state. This morning, I'll talk just a little bit about David, the shepherd boy. I know for me, and I think for a lot of kids, whether you're a boy or a girl, I think when we read the Bible stories in Sunday school, we find a certain connection with David, partly because he's young, he's somewhat innocent in his young years, he's small, he has rosy cheeks. I think they call him Rudy cheeks. And then, of course, we have the David and Goliath story, and then he grows up to become a king, and then there are other more adult stories about David. But anyway, today I'm going to read just a little bit from one of his Psalms, Psalm 91, verse 13. You will tread upon the lion, cub, and viper. You will trample down the lion and the serpent. Now, here's a thought, something written by one of my seminary professors, Fred Geiser. God's protective care is not mine, just as the gospel is never just mine. It comes always as a gift, assuring me that God provides all I need, precisely so I may take no thought for the tomorrow and give myself to the neighbor. Kind of fits with the sharing theme. I dove into this earlier this week. Excuse me for my raspy throat this morning. Keep going. The Psalms often picture danger and enemies as wild animals. Given the traditional connection between the Psalms and the youthful shepherd and poet David, this comparison makes sense. Imagine being a youngster left in charge of a flock of sheep. Their protection is your responsibility. What worries you most? Perhaps you're concerned about ravines and wandering sheep, but even more than these, you know the dangers of an attack by predators. There is almost no defense against wild animals who can strike with the speed of a snake or the force of a lion. If you're not a shepherd or a cattle rancher, your worries and fears may have little to do with the attacks of wild animals, yet the psalm verse still speaks to the scope of God's care. As you live out your calling to be a child of God, dangers may threaten to paralyze you. Don't stop because of them. Keep going. God's protection frees us from fear that would otherwise stop us in our tracks. God's care frees us to care for the people and things entrusted to us. There's so much there to think about in this time when we're all fearing a very deadly virus. There are a lot of things that we're fearing. We're fearing whether or not we're doing the right things. We're fearing the prospects of everybody staying home all the time. We're fearing a bad economy. We're fearing for our lives, of course. We're fearing because of the sadness we're enduring. Let's think about David and the trust that he had to put into God and try to emulate him. Let's be like David. Trust God. guide us, lead us, comfort us. Because, dear friends, these are troubling times. They're very troubling. The confusion of this time and the fear of this time comes at us from so many different angles. It's hard to describe. Turn to God, just like the little shepherd boy did. Trust God. Keep saying your prayers. Keep talking to those you love and reach out to a stranger here and there by phone. And continue to be safe. Consider others. Consider the safety and welfare of others. And in this crazy time around the world, and especially in our country, let's pull together. Because the one thing we do share is our common humanity. God bless you. God keep you in this day. And I look forward to seeing you early tomorrow morning and then again in worship tomorrow morning at 9:30. Have a great day.